And I will share the recording with everybody as well as a copy of the presentation and the speaking notes that we use, because this presentation is something that you are welcome to use in your parishes, in whole or in part. It is long for a parish presentation, but you can take out parts and hide, pictures and whatnot. So um, we would support you in that. So you don't feel like you need to like write down everything because we'll also give you the notes that we're working from. Uh, we ask that you remain on mute. If you have questions as we go, we will have time for a Q&A toward the end of the webinar. And so please do type your any questions or anything into the chat box, and Suzanne will facilitate chat a little bit later in the presentation. Just note that this is scheduled as a 90-minute presentation. Sometimes we could run fast, sometimes we run, but we want to make sure that we have plenty of time for questions and answers. And then we'll close with prayer at the end. So I'll introduce my colleagues. Suzanne Rumsey is our Public Engagement Program Coordinator. She will be kind of walking through the basic program components of the work of Alongside Hope. I am Kim Umbach, and I'm the Volunteer Coordinator. So we'll hopefully be connecting with all of you at some time or another for additional support. I will talk a little bit about our network, the volunteer roles, and some of the ways that you can get involved and get yourself started as a volunteer, and what you might expect. Abdi Ali is here as well, but he's part of our supporter relations team. However, he isn't presenting. And Anslim Hameed is our donor relations facilitator. He will talk a little bit about the ways to support fundraising efforts within your parish, and ways that you can give to Alongside Hope. And then Janice Biehn, who's sharing our screen and managing our presentations, will give a little bit of a quick tour of the website. So show you where to find some of the things that we'll be talking about through the presentation. Following that, we'll have some time for questions and answers and a closing prayer. So a lot to cover, but we'll try and pace it out and make sure that you do have time for questions. So I'm going to just give me a quick second. I am going to switch my notes and offer a land acknowledgement. Just a note about when I'm presenting, I am blind, and so I'm listening to my notes on a screen reader. And so if I randomly pause at unusual places, I'm just trying to catch up with my notes. So bear with me, and I will get started. Mhm. So I recognize that we are coming from across Canada, and uh, the home of many Indigenous nations across Canada, but I'm going to offer the land acknowledgement for where I am coming from. So the land in which I live and work is the traditional territory of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. It is home to the Mississaugas of Scugog, Hiawatha, and Alderville First Nations, and the Métis Nation. This territory was a subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. The treaties for the particular parcel of land that I'm coming from are covered by the Williams Treaties of 1923. I am grateful to call this land home, and I'm committed to a journey of listening, learning, and building right relationships through care and respect. At Alongside Hope, we affirm the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, UNDRIP, and the calls to action of the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. and take actions towards reconciliation in consultation with our Indigenous colleagues and partners. So I'm going to pass it on to Suzanne to start us off with a bit of an introduction to our work.
Thanks, Kim. And I'll ask Janice if you can bring up our presentation. There we go. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. So this is an information webinar, and we're going to give you start with a little cook's tour of our history, the Coles Notes version. In 1958, some of you may know this history, there was a bump, an explosion in a coal mine in Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, and it killed 75 men. That tragedy moved Anglicans and other Canadians to respond with assistance to that community and the families affected. A year later, in 1959, the Primates World Relief Fund was established at General Synod in Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue on the island of Montreal. A decade later, the D for development was added to the name, and PWRDF committed itself to addressing long-term development needs and to working in partnership with local communities and organizations, both in Canada and overseas. And last year, PWRDF marked its 65 years of supporting people, partners, and progress, and Alongside Hope was approved by the membership as the new name for the organization. So, what's in a name, and what's in this name? Alongside Hope conveys the concept of partnership in a simple and uplifting way. It's, we think, easier to understand and pronounce. It requires no lengthy acronym or alphabet soup. It tries to de-emphasize the colonial top-down approach of giving and emphasizes a more collaborative approach, which the concept of partnership embodies. And with the tagline, Anglicans and Partners Working for Change in Canada and Around the World, it honors our organization's legacy as an Anglican aid agency. And we believe it's a name that's going to carry us forward into the future. Once in a while, we still stumble over, we still say alongside hope, but if that happens today, just forgive us. And I think this is a little, yes, offers you our new name with the logo, the globe, stained glass, in English and in French, auprès de l'espoir, alongside hope. So, alongside hope today, this interactive map that you see is on the homepage of our website at alongsidehope.org, and invite you to have a look at that and interact with it. Today, we work with partners in over 30 countries in Africa, the Asia-Pacific region, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and with Indigenous communities here in Canada on a wide range of humanitarian and development programs. The majority of those programs address poverty, gender justice, and environmental concerns. Food security, preventive health, and microfinance are areas of priority. In our fiscal year 2024-25, as you'll see there, Alongside Hope spent approximately $3.9 million on development projects and $900,000 on emergency relief and refugee responses. So a little bit more about how we, where our money comes from and where it goes. So, and these pie charts and further detail is available in our annual report. So these are figures for fiscal year 2024-25. So up to the end of March of this year. Just over 52% of our funding comes from parishes and individuals across Canada. Bequests make up roughly 9% of our funding, and about 5% comes from interest and dividends, and other sources. We also received in 24-25 just under 28% of our revenue from contributions made to the Canadian Food Grains Bank that were designated to Alongside Hope and that are eligible for a match from Global Affairs Canada of anywhere from 1 up to 4 times, depending on the nature of the program being funded. In terms of our expenses, you'll see that about 20% was used to fund development projects and to support our humanitarian and refugee work. About 7.5% was allocated. 28% of funds were then allocated to CFGB food security projects, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Just over 1% supported ecumenical partnerships, and 21% was allocated for program delivery, and just under 19% went to fundraising and administering all aspects of the organization. And just to say that administration includes costs that are vital to ensuring that we are accountable for the funds entrusted to us. Just under 4% was used to engage Canadians, what we call the supporter relations program of our work. So a little bit more about financial accountability, and that's the next slide. We're committed to financial accountability, transparency, and to communicating the impact of our work. We're accredited with an organization called Imagine Canada that supports the charitable sector in Canada through social investment, charity accreditation, public policy advocacy, and research. And in 2024, we were named among the top 100 charities in Canada by Charity Intelligence. So a word about program delivery and administration, just before we get into our fun strategic plan. Alongside Hope is committed to delivering high quality development and humanitarian programming and to engaging Canadian Anglicans in this important work. To do so requires professional staff and an office in Canada, together with the ability to plan, monitor, and evaluate programs throughout the world in consultation with our implementing partners. In the not-for-profit sector, quote, good administrative overhead is considered to be between 5% and 35%, so quite a range. Alongside Hope's combined administrative and fundraising costs in 2024-25, as mentioned, were just under 19%, so sort of in the middle of that range. And probably also important to mention that when it comes to humanitarian emergencies, Alongside Hope allocates 5% of donations received for administrative overhead. Now, on to the exciting strategic plan. Whenever I present the strategic plan, I ask people to put their hands up if strategic planning excites them. And usually there aren't too many hands up. But of course, strategic planning is important to establishing the framework for the work that we will do in a certain period of time. And so these are the 7 priorities that emerged when we were developing a strategic plan for 2024 to 2029. Place partners and their priorities at the center of our work, strengthen our relationships with Indigenous communities by centering Indigenous rights, voices, and supporting Indigenous programs, affirm the role of young people as leaders in social justice initiatives, commit to a culture of respect and learning among staff, partners, and volunteers, support sustainable programs and humanitarian aid grounded in human rights and creation care, inspire generosity through effective donor stewardship, and contribute to the vitality of ecumenical groups and other networks. So that's sort of the 30,000-foot level of the priorities and the work of the 5 years that began last year. So before we talk a bit more about our program work, just a return to that term partnership which you hear us use a lot. We like to say that partnership is at the center of both who we are and how we work. So we're not operational overseas. We don't have staff or offices outside of Canada. This is both a financial and a strategic and ethical choice. Partner organizations, we believe, are best placed to address the development needs of their communities. And our role is to come alongside with support, in relationship, and in consultation with them. And as that quote says, if you want to walk fast, go alone. If you want to walk far, go together. And that's, I think the 65 years of Alongside Hope demonstrate that we've chosen to walk together. We also have, and I mentioned one or two network partnerships. So we're part of a variety of coalitions or networks of organizations that with whom we have shared values and a shared vision. And these are some of them. There are others, but a number of the key ones are Kairos, Canadian Ecumenical Initiatives, which is an ecumenical advocacy and education organization. Action by Churches Together, or the ACT Alliance, which is a global alliance of church-based development and relief agencies. And it's through the ACT Alliance that we do a lot of our emergency response programming together with others in that alliance. I mentioned the Canadian Food Grains Bank, which is a Canadian alliance of church-based agencies focused on ending global hunger. And Cooperation Canada is an umbrella organization of Canadian international development NGOs, does a lot of policy and advocacy work related to international assistance. The Canadian Council for Refugees is a broad-based coalition of refugee-serving agencies, also carries out education and advocacy work. And the Anglican Alliance is another global alliance of development and relief agencies within the Anglican Communion. We're a relatively small organization compared to other agencies. I like to quote the late great Stuart McLean, who liked to say that we may not be big, but we're small. But these networks, these network memberships help us to punch above our weight. They make us bigger. So our work. Alongside Hope is committed to the Sustainable Development Goals that represent the current consensus, a current global commitment, first articulated in the Millennium Development Goals in 2000. While Alongside Hope does not engage directly in all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, we do address many of them through the following program areas. So health and healing, resilient livelihoods, creation care, Indigenous partnerships, and humanitarian response, both around the world and in Canada, and as it pertains to supporting refugees and internally displaced persons overseas. So a little bit about each of those. By providing access to trained medical practitioners and quality health information, Alongside Hope partners are working to reduce and prevent such things as child marriage and ensuring moms-to-be can deliver their babies safely and with the best possible chances of thriving. Programs also provide critical training and education to reduce gender-based violence and promote acceptance of LGBTQ communities. Our partners support survivors of gender-based violence with opportunities to recover both their health and their dignity. And the photo here comes from our partner in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Maison Dorcas, part of the Panzi Foundation that works with women who are survivors of gender-based violence to build both their physical, mental, and emotional health, as well as their economic resilience. Resilient livelihoods. I probably don't need to tell you that in communities worldwide, climate change, conflict, and economic instability make it hard for people to earn an income. We just need to turn on the news to on any given day to know the impacts of those crises. Alongside Hope, partners are able to support livestock programs in which goats, chickens, cows, and other animals can improve nutrition by producing milk or eggs as well as meat. Surplus protein items or livestock manure can also be sold to increase income, which provides stability and financial strength for the partners. Many programs, and we'll hear about this when we talk about the World of Gifts, also provide instruction in beekeeping that benefits farmers who can sell honey and support plant pollination, which we know is key. Agricultural programs teach farmers to use climate-smart techniques that also improve their income. And this is a picture of a farmer, Mariluz Suarez, from Colombia, who has been supported by alongside Hope partner Eckloff in her farming practices. In 1996, Alongside Hope launched its Indigenous Partnership Program, and this was a program that formalized support of Indigenous partners that in fact had begun back in 1969 and was part of the reason we added D, the D of development, to our name. This work focuses on reclaiming languages and cultures. In 2015, Alongside Hope developed an interactive workshop called Mapping the Ground We Stand On to help Anglicans understand the injustices of the doctrine of discovery and the colonialism that came with it. In 2021, with the guidance of the Indigenous Program Advisory Committee, Alongside Hope launched a responsive grant fund to expand our reach to more Indigenous-led communities and groups engaged in community health, youth engagement, environmental stewardship, and climate action. In terms of creation care, Alongside Hope, partners are working to restore the land that has been ravaged by climate change. They provide training and tools to farmers so that they can adapt to nature-positive agricultural techniques such as water conservation and organic fertilizer. Partners also work to provide communities with clean water and improve access, including through the construction of shallow wells that use solar-powered pumps, as you see in this photo. They are teaching young people the importance of protecting the environment and how to spread the word on local radio stations and other media, and encouraging Indigenous and rural communities to advocate for their local needs and the protection of their ecosystems, such as ending deforestation and mining. And then our humanitarian response work. In the immediate days after an emergency or disaster, Alongside Hope is in touch with our network partners, that some of whom I mentioned, including the Canadian Food Grains Bank, the ACT Alliance, and the Anglican Alliance. In many cases, emergency response donations are leveraged through government matching funds that you often hear about when there's a major disaster. We're also in contact with any partners working in the region to offer prayers and ask for any support that they might need. These partnerships help us maximize our impact, and your donations make a considerable difference in the lives of the people affected. This support can include food, shelter, medical attention, as well as mental health supports. Later, funds can be used to rebuild infrastructure, provide training for income generation, and farming support to grow food. All that work that needs to happen after the disaster has long left the news headlines. Just in terms of our response in Canada, as the effects of climate change intensify, and I don't need to tell you this because you all know, but summer heat waves are leading to increased risk of destructive wildfires here in Canada. And tropical storms, atmospheric rivers have also become more frequent and more damaging. Churches are often in an ideal position to respond to medium and long-term needs of the community. And so through our In Canada Emergency Response Fund, which we established in 2023, we're there to help. Past responses have included emergency funds and trauma recovery in British Columbia, the Yukon, Alberta, Nova Scotia, and more. In times of emergency, parishes are encouraged to work with their diocese or spiritual ministry to apply for an emergency grant from that response fund. And finally, the number of people forced to leave their homes due to war and violence, climate-related crises, and food insecurity continues to increase at a staggering rate. There are more people displaced either internally in their countries or as refugees, more than ever in the world today. Many people cross the border into another country and move into refugee camps. Others, as I said, are internally displaced within their country, living in makeshift settlements. Alongside Hope works with our many partners on the ground to support refugees and IDPs, the internally displaced, living in precarious situations, as well as the communities who host them, by providing programs for children, health support, food and cash transfers, and opportunities to earn an income. Families can maintain their dignity till they hopefully one day can return home. So I'm going to stop there. That was a lot. There is one more, mapping the ground we stand on. I forgot about that. I mentioned earlier that one of our key education offerings is a workshop called Mapping the Ground We Stand On. It, as you can see, involves a large floor map of Canada and invites participants to both look at Indigenous presence on the land as well as a settler arrival, including the arrival of their own ancestors, and to explore, as mentioned, the concepts of the doctrine of discovery, terra nullius or empty land, and other issues. And we now have a network of 15 trained facilitators with maps across the country who are more than eager to bring the workshop to you. I think that's the end of my part. It is. And it's over to Kim to talk about our people.
People. So our we are blessed to have a network of really dedicated volunteers across Canada who basically bring the work and the stories of our partners to Anglicans in the pews and in communities. So our diocesan reps, this is a picture, an overview, a basic overview of what the diocesan reps do. They connect alongside Hope with the diocese. You act as a liaison, so you bring our work to the diocese and the diocese's work to us, and support a network of parish reps within your communities to support some of our fundraising efforts and a lot of our education and engagement opportunities. This can be done by one person or by a team, and we're really trying to encourage in a lot of dioceses working together as a team. And so that's one of our goals for the year, is to really try to support diocesan teams as they emerge. We have our board of directors. It's made up of four. Actually, just learned that there are 18 people right now from across Canada who are both clergy and lay people. They're nominated based on the skills that they bring, and they're responsible for guiding alongside Hope in areas of governance, policy development, strategic planning, and are responsible for overseeing the financial health of Alongside Hope. The Youth Council is a forum for significant dialogue with and for youth. With a broader Alongside Hope organization. They participate in developing programs to engage youth across Canada, to promote and engage young people in the work of Alongside Hope. They also have a representative who is a member of the board of directors. Together, the board of directors, the youth council, and the diocesan reps make up the membership of the Alongside Hope Corporation. The parish reps, many of you are parish reps or maybe thinking about becoming parish reps. This again can be done by an individual or a team within a parish. Oftentimes, the parish rep is part of the church's or parish's outreach committee. And we ask how to supporting alongside hope within a parish. We often talk about pray, act, and give. All are important and can be as simple or as elaborate as you are able to make it. It's a very flexible role that allows you to take your creativity and enthusiasm to share the work of Alongside Hope in your parish. You will want to be working closely with your clergy to plan activities for the year to make sure that it fits into your parish's sort of ethos and schedule. And you'll want to work closely with your diocesan rep as well. Keep them informed as to what you're doing and to ensure that they can support you in your efforts. In addition, alongside Hope staff are all here to help you as well if you want assistance with maybe it's coming up with ideas or promoting your events or learning from what other people have done. Certainly reach out to myself and any of our staff, and we're happy to support you in all of your efforts. Participating in Alongside Hope webinars and praying with Alongside Hope are really good ways to get to know our partners and the work that we do that you can then share in your parishes. Um, so we have a group called Refugee Coordinators. Refugee coordinators are not necessarily volunteers of Alongside Hope, but we do support and facilitate kind of a learning uh, community of practice of sponsorship agreement holders. So I believe it's 14 of the dioceses have sponsorship agreements with Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada, IRCC. And they kind of work through parishes to sponsor refugees who are coming, whether it's to join families or groups are able to sponsor and support refugees as they come from various parts. We work with the network to promote advocacy and learning opportunities. Our mapping exercise facilitators that Suzanne already spoke about, they're trained to deliver the Mapping the Ground We Stand On um, Education for Reconciliation workshop. They can do in-person or online workshops, although recently we haven't had so much of a demand for online, but that was certainly popular or needed during and after the pandemic. So we now have 15 facilitators across Canada, and they would be most happy to offer a mapping exercise in parishes or dioceses as requested. Your friendly PWR, I did it. I should get a swear jar for every time we say PWRDF. Your alongside Hope staff um, are come from around the world and in Canada. Um, we work in downtown Toronto and a lot from home. Some of us are in to the office once or twice a week, but others work primarily from home. We represent 12 countries and 16 different languages spoken by our staff. Um, we are organized into 5 teams: finance, programs and partnerships, who are the ones who work primarily with our overseas partners and Indigenous community partners to offer the kind of development and relief work. Fundraising and supporter relations. We used to be fundraising and supporter relations, but we have uh, grown a little bit and are trying to focus our efforts. So we have our fundraising team and donor relations, and then we have our supporter relations, which is myself, Suzanne, Abdi, and Sue, who do a lot of the church engagement work. And we have the executive director's office, which includes our executive director, human resources, and office manager. So this is a bit of a snapshot of a year at a glance of Alongside Hope, what you might expect at different points of the year as you kind of prepare and plan for your work. So parishes can get connected in all aspects. So we're coming up to our Advent. We do have our Advent resource, and sometimes parishes like to do Advent projects. Same thing happens during Lent, of course. We are currently looking at our Whirl of Gifts as a major campaign, and Christmas cards are available for order at this time. But these are kind of what you can see and what you can expect to help us promote. So your first month as an Alongside Hope volunteer, just the best ways to sort of get in touch and get yourself up to speed on what you're expected to do and what you might plan to do within your parish. The single easiest and most important thing you can do is sign up for Connect, which is our monthly e-newsletter. I think many of you have already signed up for that because you would have received the invitation to the today's webinar, because that tends to go out to our subscribers as well. It includes things like news stories, voices of hope, uh, information about upcoming events, and resources that you can order. Take a tour of the website. Well, Janice is going to give you a very brief tour of the website, but there's a lot to be found there. Um, you'll learn about our partners, our work, ways that you can get involved, and how you can order resources. The Get Involved tab is one that you will probably spend a great deal of time on, because that's where you'll find resources to order, ways to book a speaker, book a mapping exercise facilitator, or get involved as a volunteer. And Janice will share a little bit about more about that in the tour. You can check out our YouTube channel to find inspiring videos from our partners, as well as past webinars are often posted up on YouTube as well. And this webinar here will be recorded, and the recording will be available on our YouTube channel as well. So you can find it there if you haven't found it in the link that I sent you. Follow us on social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think we might still be on X, but we don't really do much there. And definitely connect with your clergy and your diocesan rep to start making a plan and seeing how, what might fit into your parish schedule as far as Alongside Hope's work. So we have a lot of resources on the website on alongsidehope.org. Um, you can print the order form, or you can do an online order of annual resources that we produce each year. And this year we have some new ones. We have a kind of a folder where it has a number of leaflets that introduce different aspects of Alongside Hope's work, as well as a bit of a description of, or an explanation of our new name. Um, we also have a lot of promotional and seasonal resources, that including our upcoming Advent resource, our Lent resource. So you can subscribe to those on the Get Involved page as well. We have you can subscribe to our monthly Praying with Alongside Hope, as well as see what upcoming webinars are available. So here's another list of uh, Alongside Hope at Home, sort of share some of these ways that you can engage with Alongside Hope from home. So that's a lot of our online offerings. You can go to Alongside Hope at Church to learn about some of these ways to connect and, whether it's booking a speaker, booking a mapping exercise, um, planning an Alongside Hope Sunday. The resources and ideas are there for perusal. So now I'm going to pass it on to Anslim, and he is going to share a little bit about ways to give and support fundraising efforts.
Thanks, Kim. So the first thing I want to talk about was our in honor and in memoriam cards. So on the left is our in honor card, and on the left is our in honor card, and then on the right is the in memory card. These are we just talked about it, and I'm sure Janice will go through it again. You can get on the resource page. You can actually order these to send out. Uh, they are also available if you make a donation. There's always an option if you want to have a tribute, and that will be either, again, in memory or in honor. And then we do the due diligence of sending these cards out to the person that you'd like them sent out to. Um, if you prefer that we send an email to them, that's also an option, but these are the cards that they would receive in the mail. So it's always a nice little card, nice little something for anybody out there. Um, Moving on from that, we move into our our Give Today page. I keep saying this, but Janice will go show it. It's much easier when you see the website. But on the website, all the way to the right, there's a big button that says Give Today, and it brings you here. The most important aspect I want to point out here, as you see that red arrow, there are two buttons there that say Donate Now to Where Needs Are Greatest and Donate on Behalf of a Group. So if you're looking to just make a singular donation, just in a general way, you would click on the donate now to where needs are greatest. If you want to donate on a behalf of a group, then you would choose the behalf of a group. The biggest difference here is if you're donating on behalf of a group, there is no tax receipt versus the where needs are greatest. It's a singular tax receipt for the one donation. So if you're ever wondering, you want to make a donation for a group of people, you can use that behalf on a group or donate on behalf of a group. And then if you were to scroll down on that page, you see a bit more specific areas where you can donate. So we have, for example, the In Canada emergencies, Gaza, any sort of international emergencies that happen. We have a pool or a response pool there that you can donate to. Some that are more specific, for example, Ukraine. There'll be a button there for just specifically Ukraine. We have also recently just launched our monthly donor club, and that is very right at the top. And so if anyone's asking how to become a monthly donor, if there's a way, the button's there. You can just click on that. These will now and then change depending on what's happening in the world, so it won't stay like this forever. It'll always be changing as we move on throughout the years. We also have the Wild Ride. You may have heard of or Kim talk about, or Suzanne, or say everybody talk about the Wild Ride. So a Wild Ride is basically a peer-to-peer fundraiser, um, meaning that you raise funds with people that you know. And what it used to be was that you all sort of went for a walk or a run, and you raised funds. Uh, but now it's sort of up to you what you want to do. So you can walk, you can run, you can knit, you can go swimming, you can read a book. We've had book clubs. So really anything that's sort of an activity that you can do with other people, you raise funds for. And this year we were fortunate enough to have our fund as the solar suitcases, which you may have seen or heard about. I won't go into it because I can talk about that for hours. But it was a very successful campaign this year. I think, blew past our goal, which is great news. Um, but this is one of our sort of end of summer sort of fundraisers that happens, and it's great to connect with people and just do a fun activity with. So keep your eyes and ears peeled out and coming next summer for our next wild ride. I will mention that the where the funds are designated to will always change. So this year it was Solar Suitcase. That might not be the case come next year, but we will let you know. Moving on from Wild Ride, we have our sort of Christmas fundraiser. This is our biggest one, and it's called the World of Gifts. So this is a big collaboration between the partnership team um, and everyone because it's I think this year we have 40 different gifts that you can pick from, and usually in the past we've had about maybe 20 to 25. So this year has they really put the pressure on us to fundraise to make it worth their while. Basically, it's a flyer with 40 different items that you can pick from and choose from with all different price points depending on the program. So it's a big push in Christmas time. We usually launch World of Gifts at the end of September, early October, and we usually push it until December. But I want to make a point that it is year round. So it just doesn't, these programs just don't disappear after December 31st. They're always here and they're always available throughout the year. You might not see us sending out emails about it or putting it out on social media as much as we do at the end of the year, but again, it's still a year-round fundraiser that it'll always be there, and it's also on our website. I believe now we actually have a banner at the top that says World of Gifts. It's year-round, and I want to make that really clear that it's not just for the 3 months that we really push it. It's a year-round. Uh, Fortunately, this year we had a matching fund. Basically, the first $100,000 that were donated or that would be donated gets matched for 100,000. So as of actually today, we actually met that match. So yay for us. Uh, but this is now I want to say our third year. I could be wrong with having a match for World of Gifts. So it's been a really big push and really big fundraiser for everyone. Moving from that, we have crowdfunding pages. So crowdfunding pages are basically a fundraising page made for you. So the example here is a former board member, Valerie, had her birthday, and instead of receiving gifts, she just wanted people to donate. So we created a crowdfunding page entirely just for her. And this page, she gave me the title, the amount. Basically, she customized it the way she wanted it to. And then she sent it out throughout her own network, and people were able to donate um, for her birthday. Now, this is just an example as for a birthday, but it can be anything. Uh, Actually, this year we had somebody actually do one of the World of Gifts items as their crowdfunding page. So they just wanted to raise fund for one specific item, and I created a page for them, and they are raising funds for it as we speak. So this can be anything. It could be a birthday, it could be a celebration of somebody. Ideas are not coming to my mind right now, but it can be really anything you want or anything you can think of. And the way you would be able to do that, you would contact me or contact really anybody. If, Kim's on your mind, you can email Kim about it and she'll connect us for sure. I'm not saying just Kim, just like Suzanne, Janice, anybody. Um, Anybody really. Just let them know that you're interested in doing it and then we can connect for sure. And I think that's it for me. Yes, that is. So I think it's now Janice for the website that we've been talking so much about.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Just give me 1 second here. So I'm just going to show you a little bit, kind of a tour of the homepage, and then we'll focus on the get involved section. And as Anslim was saying, like, a lot of this will be sort of reinforcing what you were seeing in the PowerPoint, but now we can see it in action. So hopefully, it's good to have things repeated, right? So welcome to alongsidehope.org. Hopefully you have had a chance to look at the website. I'm just going to go top to bottom. Anslim was talking about, we like to call this the ribbon up at the top of the page, and that is ever changing, but right now we are highlighting the world of gifts because we want to draw people's attention to it. And so that just gives you a little quick hit towards the world of gifts. And you can click on here to view details. It'll take you to actually to a story that's in our news section. The website's organized. You can tell by the navigational bar across the top with, about is all the background. Our work and impact describes in more detail a lot of the segments that Suzanne walked us through. And then we have Get Involved, which we'll come back to. Ways to give. So that's lots of different ways that you can support our partners and programs. And then the news section. I'm just going to click on that first because a lot of times you might be looking for what's new. You maybe you're responsible for making an announcement or you want to put together a display or you want to just be able to share. You have to do a report to vestry or to your parish about what programs Alongside Hope is supporting. So go to the news section, and this is all chronological. So the most recent news article that we published is here from A Single Gift, Multiple Benefits. So that's a story about our partner, one of our partners in Kenya. So you can go through that, and then you can go to the next page. And as you can see, there are tons and tons and tons and tons of stories. My colleague Jacqueline and I are kept very busy writing about not just the programs, but also about the work that you're doing. Great inspiring work from the parishes about different projects and different ways that you are connecting people to our work. Here's a story about a priest in the Diocese of Nova Scotia, PEI, who has also become a monthly donor. And so a little bit about her story of why Alongside Hope is important to her. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to, going to go back two things. Sorry. So back to our homepage. My goodness, slow today. Okay. So you scroll down, we have a lot more ways to enter into the website. This is a button here that highlights the work of our new name, which is still new to a lot of people. It's been about a year for us. Although it was officially in March, as Suzanne noted, so I guess it's not quite a year for most people. Anyway, a lot of people might have questions about the name, so if you need to answer that, you can get some information here. You can always ask us, of course, but we do try to make information available to you. Another shortcut to our partners' work and shortcut to humanitarian responses, the shortcut to our annual report, which you can also get physical copies. So you would have received them in the Anglican Journal in September, but you can also read it online. And then this is actually supposed to say World of Gifts, so my apologies, but this is another shortcut to the World of Gifts. You'll see different sort of call-outs that will change from time to time on the homepage. Right now, we're promoting our Advent resource, so you can subscribe right from the homepage. And then another call-out to the World of Gifts. We like to bring some stats, simple, impact numbers that people can get a hold of if they want to sort of get a sense of the impact at a glance. And then, as I was saying about the news up at the top, we also have the most recent news stories will filter into the bottom of the page. And just as we scroll down to the bottom, in the beginning of the PowerPoint, we showed you a page that looked like this. This is a pretty cool interactive feature that we quite like. So you can zoom in on the map, and then let's say, I would like to find out about the work in Madagascar. So you would click on there, and then it gives you a little pop-up about the partnership, the work that we're doing in Madagascar. And click on this to read more, and it takes you right to the story. So that's kind of a cool little way to find something quickly. Again, if you're, sometimes you might have the luxury of time to make a presentation, but most of my experience in church land has been that you're asked to do something quickly. So we try to make it easy for you. Lots of different, the blue buttons are development programs and the purple ones are emergency responses. And then finally at the bottom, I do like to go down here because there is a contact button here, which if you are, wanting to reach any of the staff, you can go there. It also has our social media buttons here. So Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube page, that's a little YouTube channel icon, and LinkedIn. And yeah, we're not really active on X anymore. Kim wasn't 100% sure on that. So you will not really find us there. I'm not the profile may still be there, but we're not posting there. Instead, we're doing a lot more on LinkedIn. So that is the home page. And so just briefly, our work and impact shows you all those different areas of working. And Suzanne had sort of briefly mentioned them, but if you click on each of these, then you also get links to other stories and other, it just goes a little bit deeper. So get involved is really where I think you'll want to be spending most of your time. We did see this in the PowerPoint, but let's just, for example, the resources, if you clicked here, you can get to the annual resources, which is you can order items online through this page here, or you can click here to download the order form and save that as a PDF or print it out and order the old-fashioned way, which is absolutely fine. Lots of other resources that we have that you can click on those buttons to learn more about. Everything is available as a downloadable PDF. One of my favorite buttons here is share our stories because that's what I like to do. So you'll find not just the news stories, but again, so it does have a link to our news button here, but a link to the YouTube channel. Let's have a quick look at that. So the YouTube channel, for example, has tons of great videos that we make available. It might start talking. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. So that's actually our annual general meeting. Then we have webinars are here on our YouTube page. We also have, it's divided into different playlists. So this is really, I mean, you can kind of browse through here. If you're looking for something specifically, you can also reach out to any one of us to find out what we might have. But do have a look because often, a video can be a nice anchor or a nice introduction to an evening presentation or a coffee hour. And it can really kind of, I think, really highlight, in a really engaging way because you get to hear the actual voices of our partners in those videos. Anslim, I'm so sorry. You have been spotlighted this entire time, and it really should be me who's spotlighted. Okay. And then Under the Sun is a newsletter that comes out 3 times a year. It is delivered in your Anglican Journal, November, February, and June, I believe. Well, one time it was September, but it's actually November. So you can read all the current issue, or you can click to look at the back issues. Most of these stories will eventually make it onto the website, but I am sort of a dyed-in-the-wool print journalist and print lover. So I hope that you would take the time to read through the newsletter when it comes out in the journal. The other way that we really urge people to stay connected to our to what's going on is through our monthly newsletter, which is called Connect. And so you can click here to subscribe. As Kim said, you probably already all are, but also really do encourage your fellow parishioners to do that as well. One of the things that comes in the Connect, that's at the top of every e-blast, is something called Voices of Hope. And Voices of Hope is designed as a half-page insert that goes into, you can print out to put into a bulletin, but you can also read it out. You could also turn it into a slide to project onto a screen, depending on how your parish uses, how your liturgies are done. And it's just it's a quick hit. Maybe I'll just show you an example of one. This is the most recent one that's going to be going out today, as a matter of fact. And it is about our work in Lesotho with Partners in Health. And so it's just, a great way to, even create like a little mission minute if you wanted to. You could read this out, or you could print it, or as I say, you could include it in an e-blast if you have space for a little Alongside Hope announcement. It's also available in French. Yes, so that is the Share Our Stories. And I'm just going to go back to our Get Involved grid to highlight a couple more things. Kim talked about the Alongside Hope at Church and Alongside Hope at Home, but just to show you, how it looks on the website. Our logos are available here for download if you're making a poster or a flyer. You could also request a speaker from here if you would like to have somebody come to your parish. We can connect you with somebody local, or it could even be that one of us could come and travel. So there's a little button to request a speaker. This is where you can subscribe to our offering envelope, also known as the Blue Envelope program, and encourage you to organize an Alongside Hope Sunday. So this includes which resources and what you might, how you might do that. There's really no set rule to how to have an Alongside Hope Sunday and what you might include, but we can give you some ideas. And then another link to the mapping exercise, which Suzanne talked about. So that's Alongside Hope at Church, and then Alongside Hope at Home, just to show you to subscribe so that you can be part of the Praying with Alongside Hope community. We've got tons of resources that you can do on your own at home, or they can also be brought into your parish setting or a community setting, especially the ones around creation care and climate action. Also links to Christmas cards and all the seasonal resources that we were speaking about with Lent and Advent. And then I think we're just going to look at the ways to give, which you can access from here, or you can access from the Give Today page. So I just wanted to click Explore the Ways to Give. There are just, becoming a partner in hope, which is becoming a monthly donor, giving through your church, gifts and will, gifts of stocks, just making regular one-off donations, or there's lots of ways to do that through our website, or which is a secure website. We use a software called Donor Perfect, or you can also mail a check, or you can make a phone call and pay, go on your credit card, and we will take your information. And that there's the address if you would like to mail your gift. So I think that is everything. Is there anything else that I missed on the website, Kim, Suzanne, or Anslim?
Just want to show them just a picture of the World of Gifts. I know Anslim talked about it quite a bit, but just show them what it looks like on the actual webpage.
Thank you so much, Kim. So yes, I showed you all the places where you can click to the World of Gifts, and here's the landing page for our World of Gifts guide, and you can look at the guide from this page. The guide also comes. Where's my guide? The guide also comes. Hold on. There we go. Also comes in the journal, October, November, and December Anglican Journal, and it is available to view here. And then it has instructions for how to order. But then we also have, if you click right at the very top, it says Shop the World of Gifts online 24/7. And this is the way that the online guide looks, with that sort of familiar grid pattern. And you could choose malnutrition in Burundi. So you add it to the cart, and then you can order a gift card if you like. So you would click yes or no, and then add to the cart. And then you could either keep browsing or just go to payment and then fill in all your information. Check that you've got the right amount. Or maybe at this point you might say, actually, I want to do 2 of these. And so that you can edit the number of gifts that you want to do, or you can remove it. So it's a very, this is actually also through Donor Perfect, so everything is integrated, and we think it's we've been using this for, I think it's our third year, Anslim, is that right? It's been quite effective as a way to merge the two, the paper, which I love, the paper will Lucas, but also making sure that people can purchase online, because it is obviously much more convenient, especially when we have the the potential postal interruptions. It is nice to be able to do online and know that you're not reliant on that. So with the online giving, you can also purchase an you not purchase, but you can also click that you would like an e-card, and so the people that you are designating your gift for will receive an e-card. And if you're further concerned about postal delays, you can also download the gift cards from our website, just from that landing page that I showed you. Those are PDFs, and you could print those out if you wanted to use those for and not wait for anything in the mail.
Great.
That I think
Thanks.
is it.
That's it. Thanks, Janice. That's really helpful.
Well,
We spend a lot of time on the world of gifts because that is often a popular one for parishes to do, like whether it's an Advent or a Lent project. Sometimes some of the items are large, and parishes sometimes will like to get together and pick a gift item to focus on, or sometimes Sunday schools or confirmation classes will like to pick a gift, and it's the kind of it's a fundraiser, but it's also an educational opportunity because it sort of does describe some of the work in a bit more detail, so that you can get a sense of what the program is and what the need is that's happening within the different parts of the world. So with that, I would say we'll open it up to any questions. I don't know if there's any in the chat, but you can either type it into the chat, or you can use your little raise hand button, or you can wave your hand in the air, and Suzanne will be watching. Just if you want to be sure that you're seen, use the raise hand button, because can't necessarily see everybody. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, we'd love to hear them.
Thanks, Kim. Thus far, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, which doesn't mean there aren't questions, but wondering if there, are questions, comments. I know we've given you a lot of information, so you're probably recovering from the data dump. But Lillian, was that a hand up? I wasn't sure. Can you unmute and ask us a question? Uh-oh, she's looking anxious.
Maybe she was scratching her head.
It's the unmute thing. There she is. Hi, Lillian.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. And so I always am curious about who gave the matching gift. Does anybody ever agree to tell that? Because I always think, oh, I'd really like to write and thank them, or think more highly of them, or whatever. I'm nosy.
I think they've been anonymous the last few, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anonymous to us, or
Right, but
well, maybe not us, but not anonymous to Alongside Hope. I don't know who it is personally, but
yeah,
somebody
we don't have
does.
permission to share if we did know.
That it came from with no name attached
But,
to it.
I mean, another time if somebody's offering this, you could say, well, sometimes people would like to know. Anyway, it's just because I'm nosy.
Right.
But what do you say to people who you say something about Alongside Hope and they say, well, times are really tough, and kind of turn off the conversation? If you got a quick response I could give, yes, times are tough.
I can try that. I can try that. And you know what, I think what is most important is to actually acknowledge that, yes, in fact, times are tough, right? So it's real. And so when I ask or tell people about opportunities to give, it's sort of an invitation to give. And the other thing I might say is, if giving isn't an opportunity, that's why we say pray, act, and give, because you can be engaged and support Alongside Hope in whatever means makes sense. And so, it can be as little or as much as you're able. But times are also tough. What's happening is we learn that the need is great, right? So times are tough for everyone, and people that need the work of our partners that support have also increased. And so we will continue to invite people to give as they're able, but if they're not able at this time, certainly include us in their prayers and get involved in some of our, learning opportunities. And oftentimes when people, do have the time or the ability to give, then they will. But they can be engaged in whatever way
That's
they
a
are
good,
able at any given time. Yeah.
thank you, Kim. That's a good response, and I'll
Yeah.
try to keep that in mind. My other question, if
Yeah.
I'd be allowed one more, is that the world of gifts looked this year as if I thought, oh, there's kind of no gifts in the middle. There's the 25 and the 15, and then there seemed to be, I think there was 150, and then it jumped to quite a lot bigger than I give for Christmas presents. And was that a deliberate thing? I know costs are up everywhere, but I'm looking for more mid-range things, so I could only
There's-
find 4.
There's lots for under 100, Lillian. The very first one is 85.
That's still over my range. So anyway, I just wondered if it had been deliberate. Just seemed to me it was
No,
a jump. Maybe I'm wrong about it.
it's just based on what things cost. But I don't there. What like are you looking at 60 or there's ones
Yes,
for 20?
probably for 50 and 40 and
Yep,
yeah.
I'm seeing lots. I'm seeing lots in that range. We definitely, what we really do intentionally try to do is make sure there's a lot in all the range. So
different
maybe just
ranges.
have a
Well,
take
I
a
looked at
closer
it a
look,
couple
or
of times. I'll look
Yeah.
again.
I
Perhaps
can email you. Like there's quite a few at the between 25 and 60 that I'm seeing.
maybe I didn't
Yeah.
look carefully enough. Anyway, thank you for that.
Sometimes they get grouped together, so there's some that sort of together. It's kind of like I don't know.
Yeah,
what
but
the
they're
groupings
but
are
they're
this
also
year, but they're also
available.
available as individual
Yeah.
gifts. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe I just looked at Give a Farm and
yeah. But within the farm, you can give individual
Yeah.
gifts of the
Yes.
different pieces.
Thank you anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks. And just before I invite Ken to ask a question, just one more thing on anonymous donors. Part of, I think, their desire for anonymity is that they, as generous as they are with us, they don't want to become the object of requests from elsewhere if they are known to be a generous donor, as you can
I see.
imagine. They want to
Not
maintain
having
their
been in that
privacy.
position, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
know.
So I think
Yeah.
we do want to honor their desire for privacy.
Mhm.
Ken, you had a question. Sorry.
So at this point, if I feel like the Holy Spirit is calling me to be a representative in my parish, do I just designate myself and go to it, or enter a period of discernment, or what happens next?
Great question.
Yeah, it's a pretty, certainly absolutely pray about it and make sure. If you are interested, certainly you can reach out to me and I can talk to you about some of the aspects of a bit more in depth about just how it fits into your schedule or, how different parish reps kind of work. It's also a good idea to talk to your parish priest. Some some parishes have like an election or an appointment that happens at vestry, and others don't. Others, is talking to the parish priest and saying, "Hey, do we have a rep?" And I'm interested, and then certainly let me know so that I can, send you some information and properly support you and connect you. Which diocese are you in?
Berwick and Ellsford. Oh, sorry, Anglican Diocese of Nova Scotia, PEI.
Nova Scotia PEI. So what I would do then is, if you were to choose to do this, that I would then connect you with it's Leah and Jillian, are two women who are sort of sharing the role of diocesan rep. So I would make sure that they know about you and they would continue to sort of connect with you and support you as well. So there's lots of support to be found, but check in with your priest and then let me know if you're interested. Yeah. It's a pretty easy process.
Thank you all. I have
Yeah,
to run
yeah.
off to a lesson.
And
Awesome.
just to assure everyone, it's not a life sentence. You can establish for yourself and with your parish how long you'd like to take on the role. And some people carry it for many years, others for a shorter period of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I think Anslim answered. Ray had a question about right, the way that I believe, Anslim, are these tax receipts are still coming as
No, these are
PRDF?
the pre-authorized
Oh,
monthly donations.
Okay.
It's probably still showing up, and it probably will for a while as PWRDF. But the account, it's everything's still the same. Like it's still coming to us, so it's not being rerouted
Right.
anywhere differently or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a small finance thing that they need to do. But
Okay.
it sounds very simple, but there's a lot of sort of cogs
Yeah.
that are turning there that
Yeah.
sort of need to happen. So
Yeah.
I know they are working on it, but there's no really timeline as when it'll start saying alongside hope.
Yeah, it's all connected to our charity number, and so the receipts will have the charity number on it, and that hasn't changed. So the name changes. PWRDF or Primates World Relief Development Fund is still legal, and will be probably forever. But yeah, eventually the name will change, but the number will not.
Yeah, but rest assured that both
Yeah.
Alongside Hope and PWRDF are still valid, as it were. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. The humans may be saying Alongside Hope more than the technology is, but sometimes the technology has to catch up with the humans. Are there any other questions? I don't see any others, I don't think, in the chat at the moment. Jacqueline, did you have your hand up? Jacqueline Morris? And I think Heather has a hand afterwards. Yeah, Jacqueline.
I just wanted to say how impressed I am with the website. That was amazing. All the information I can get from the website will be really very useful.
Great. Oh, that's lovely to hear. Thank you, Jacqueline.
You're very welcome. You'll be hearing from me, perhaps.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and if there's anything there that you'd like more information about or have a question about, please, yeah, do be welcome to be in touch with us. The website has the information. The humans have have more information and a smile to offer.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Heather Rhodes, I think you're there. I see your hand and the top of your head.
I apologize for a bit of a challenge today, but BC Hydro decided to replace a couple of telephone poles near my home, and I've scrambled. I'm down in the lounge at our church.
Oh, poor you.
I came on. I didn't realize quite how much time it would take to get here. At any rate, now I also have the challenge that our parish priest is on medical leave. Yeah, but what I'd like to know, one right off, is it a regular thing that this presentation every year?
Yes. We usually do the this presentation online 1 to 2 times a year, and in between times, it's available so that we've recorded it, and so the link is available all through the year. So oftentimes when people reach out to me saying that they're interested in volunteering or they'd like to learn more, I will send them a lovely welcome email with a link to the recording of these webinars. So that's what I send out in between. And then at least once a year, usually twice, we would do just a little bit of an update. So then the financials change from fiscal year to fiscal year. And sometimes we might focus on specific so right now we're focusing a lot and probably mentioned the Advent resource about 14 times and the World of Gifts. If it was in the spring, you'd hear a lot more about Wild Ride. So that's how it changes up a little bit, but it's certainly available for you. And it will be also available on our YouTube channel.
Yes. The way I see things, I will put it reasonably graciously that I was railroaded into the job in my mid 70s. I see my number one role right now is to reach out to other people who are interested so I can get myself replaced at some point.
Yes, succession planning is always good. Tell them just how much fun it can be, though.
That's lovely.
And if anybody that you do speak to wants more information, I'd be happy to speak to them. So you will have my email address because I will be sending out the recording and whatnot. So you can certainly send them my way to talk more if you'd like.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Heather, and thanks for making the effort to join us and
Yeah,
despite
awesome.
hydro challenges. I think Lillian had her hand up again. Did you have another question,
I
Lillian?
did, but now I've forgotten it.
Oh, well, if you think of it, send us a
You know
note.
where we are.
Yeah, that's right. I'm noticing, another note in the chat, just someone needing to leave. And in fact, I think we're coming towards the end of our time. So just if I could check if there are any other pressing
I did see Heather
questions or
McKinley.
I
comments.
thought of my question.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Let me get Heather, and then I'll come back to Betty and to Lillian. Heather.
there we go.
Okay, here I am. So I am from St. Simon's in Oakville,
Hmm.
and I've had a couple of parishioners recently coming up and asking if we're able to do anything to help Jamaica at this point.
Hmm.
Yes. So I can take that one if you'd like as well. So currently, and it's on our website, so Janice pointed at the news stories, and there is a news story about the Hurricane Melissa. So we started with funds to Cuba and Haiti, where we have partners already.
Right.
But we're currently working with the Anglican Alliance to mount a response in Jamaica. So I think there's a gift that's either been made or it's in process right now, but it's working through the Anglican Alliance because they are connected with the Anglican churches within Jamaica who are best positioned. I think Suzanne mentioned that, right? So when we work through the Anglican Alliance, the local parishes are in the best position to sort of understand the needs and be in a place to be able to respond. And so that will be happening shortly and will likely continue more as in sort of the recovery phase of the disaster.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Heather. Betty, and then Lillian, and then we'll need to wrap up.
Yeah.
Betty. You just muted yourself, Betty.
Betty, our
Need to
newest
unmute.
rep.
Can you unmute, Betty? There we go.
There. Okay.
Okay.
A couple of things. First of all, our church has been very interested in what's happening in the Philippines. They have had 4, possibly 5 typhoons that have gone into the area, and we have a lot of Filipinos living in our community, and so we had set up a donation jar through the thrift store to fund that, and also we're involved with the solar suitcases and raised quite a bit of money through that, which was very nice. Just something that has happened in our church. I am the diocesan rep for the Yukon, and yes, I was kind of drafted into it by David Pritchard when he came up to visit us, and he says, "You need to do this." So I said, "Okay, fine." But I'm also the parish rep, and I wondered if that happened in a lot of other places.
It happens from time to time, Betty. Depends.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we're a small
Particularly
church,
in you're a small diocese, so that
yeah.
kind of does make sense. But yes, it does happen where the diocesan rep, whether there is a parish rep or not, they will act as that, or they will support the parish rep and step out of the way a little bit. But it's not unusual. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
And in terms of the Philippines, yes, there will be. I think we have some long-term partners there and some news more to come.
Yeah,
that we're not in a position to share yet.
I was talking to Naba about that 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So
thanks, Betty.
That's it for now.
Lillian.
Awesome.
Thanks. I'll be as fast as possible. I know Yukon Betty is famous for her work alongside Hope, and thank you for those years. I'm thinking of Indigenous Truth and Reconciliation committees that some churches have. And it seems to me that's a way in for alongside Hope. Is there any way of canvassing parishes to say, do you have such a committee? And if so, who's the chair? And then reaching out directly to them, because I don't think most of them know about our Indigenous programs.
Right. Yeah, that's
Good idea.
a good idea. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. In terms of the canvas, like when we from time to time reach out to parishes to ask certain things, and yeah, absolutely. Uh, um, Indigenous reconciliation committees. We know that we're working with some, like in Ottawa, Diocese of Ottawa has the All My Relations Committee that a number of our mapping exercise facilitators participate in, and in Toronto we have Nancy Hearn and Cheryl Merrick, who are our mapping exercise facilitators, and they tend to connect with other committees as well. I know Cheryl in particularly is in the mix of Indigenous um, committees and sort of is tapping those networks. But that's a really good idea.
Mhm. Thanks.
Yeah.
Kim, I think we need to end in prayer. Is that
Okay.
okay? We'll
That
do
is
that?
great, and that is
All
you.
right. Well, thank you everyone very much for your time. And I thought we would end with a prayer for the Advent season since Advent starts this Sunday. So let us pray. In this season of Advent, we wait. We wait in the darkness of shorter days. We wait in the darkness of a world broken by war, by hunger, by injustice, by the damage we have inflicted upon Pachamama, Madre Tierra, Mother Earth. In this season of Advent, we wait. We wait for the inbreaking into human history of an incarnational God, of the Word made flesh, of a baby born of a young woman on the edge of empire. In this season of Advent, we wait, but we do not wait passively. We actively wait through every small act of healing, of truth-telling, of reconciliation, of peacemaking. In this season of Advent, we wait. We wait. Amen.
Man. Thank
Thank
you,
you
everybody.
again.
Okay.
Have a good Advent.
Thank you.